Yes, I can see you.
Can you hear me as well? If you can hear me, can you do a thumbs up or something so that I
Anyone
can?
else can hear? All right, awesome.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Benga. It's a privilege to be here. Um, be honest, when you reached out to me as regards it, I was sort of shocked. I'm like, what? ah, the back and forth and everything. Um, it's been an amazing time in this career in general. And well, first of all, thank you, Benga, for bringing me on here. I really appreciate this gesture. I don't take it for granted.
Thank you
Um,
for gracing us with your presence.
no, all right. So let me do like a brief introduction about who I am, where I'm coming from, and all that. So yeah, as everyone knows, my name is Segun Sobodu. Um, I currently work for Opera Software as the lead product quality assurance manager, um, focusing more on Africa. I'm a product consultant. I've had the privilege to launch some products, to be part of various products um, in the hospitality sector, in the vending sector, in the software as a service sector. Currently, I am a product consultant for um, a restaurant, how will I say, a food product yes. Uh, I consult for them and you guys can check them out later. I'm not advertising them. Their name is Luca Buka, and you can check them out later. Um, I've been privileged to also grow some products. I've been part of a lot of startups, right? So the likes of Platnova, the likes of Giveaway, um, the likes of Reach Out. Several products I've been part of. Yeah, countless. I didn't start my career as a product manager. I started my career as a social media manager, really. And and I moved. Due to my curiosity, I moved from being a social media manager to being a product marketing person, and then I now became a product manager. So since then, I've been stuck to product. I like solving people's problem and all that. So that's the long and brief about me. You can check me out on LinkedIn if you want to find out more about me. I just search for my full name, Segun Sobodu. You will see um, who I am on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much active on LinkedIn. So yes, let's jump right into today's topic. Let me share my screen. Give me a moment. Okay. Hmm. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So please give me a moment. Um, okay. Um, so yes. If you can still see my screen, please let me know. You can say you are seeing my screen. Benga, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah, your screen is up.
It's off.
No, it's up. I can see the secrets of high impact product
Okay.
managers. That's what you're sharing. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kenneth. All right. I appreciate that feedback. Okay. So yes. So today's session really is every product manager is seen as everybody claims to be good, everybody claims to know what they are doing, but how do you now distinguish yourself from being just a good product manager to being a great product manager, right? So it's not just about writing user stories. It's not just about following up with developers. It's not just about giving feedback to your stakeholders and all that. It's deeper than that. It's more than that. It's more broader than that. So just to make it more understandable, hence the topic, from good to great, the secret of high impact product managers. So let's move on. I've done a brief introduction of today's session, and my name. Yes. All right. So let's talk about now what if they ask you what are the core functionalities of who a product manager is, aside looking from the slide that is here, what will you say? What will you say is the core responsibility or the core role of the product manager? Anyone here can answer. Anyone wants to answer? Everybody is shy. All right. Okay. So let me not waste time. Let me not waste too much time. Am I still sharing my screen? Hello, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, your screen is still up.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
your screen is showing.
Okay, all right. So yes, since no one wants to answer, most of the core responsibility or the core role of a product manager really is they are divided into three, right? First, a product manager bridges the gap between the business, um, the tech, and then the customer, right? They are sort of like they are the middleman. I would say middleman because they sort of intertwine. They are on the customer side and also on the business side, right? So they are like the joiner to the customer and the business. So without the product managers, we will not really understand the pain points of of the pain point of the customer. And without the product managers, if the pain points are not solved, if there is no solution to the user's pain point, the business will not make money, right? So once you can solve the the customer's problem, the business makes more money. And that sort of like skyrockets the what's it called? The business side, right? Makes more money, everybody's happy, everybody goes home. So, and another thing about the role of the product manager really is communication. Communication is very, very key. Now, they communicate between the customer, the stakeholders, and their various teams, right? They come up with strategies, they come up with execution. Um, Without these three things, right, I don't think we can classify a product manager as a product manager if they don't come up, if they don't carry on this responsibility of communication, strategy, and execution, right? So those are like the three main responsibilities. Also, it comes with skills, right? Soft skills, hard skills. Some of the hard skills are data analysis, um, soft skills are prioritization, and then stakeholder management. Like I said, like I initially mentioned, I said something about um, the product manager being the intermediary between the business and the customer. The business in this sense is the stakeholder, right? The company in a whole. So also the stakeholder as an external stakeholder, the customer. So there is a way that you communicate with the internal stakeholder, the co-founder, whoever runs the business, and then the customer, the people that enjoy the services of the business. So these are the three skills, and they are all categorized into the core roles of what a product manager does in general. So now let's now go into discussion, right? I'm sure most of us here already know that a product manager is literally everywhere. In fact, one of the major things a product manager does is we attend meetings a lot. In a whole day, you can use from your 9 to 5, 9 hours, you can use 7 hours for meeting, right? And in those 7 hours, you're either delegating, you are meeting with the developer, you are speaking with the customer, you are doing this and that. I will give myself as an example, and I will give room for other people if you have like an idea or if you have such experiences. But for me personally, I attend a lot of meetings, and I'm sure Benga to attend a lot of meetings. It's like it's like um it's like drinking water every day to the brim, right? That's how we do it as product managers. Meetings, ensuring that um, marketing team is doing what they're supposed to do, ensuring that the design team does what they're supposed to do, ensuring following up with the developers to ensure that the tasks that they are supposed to carry out, they are carrying it out. Are they meeting their milestones? Are they meeting the time they are supposed to do it? So what is left to be done? Who have they debugged? So all that stuff. That's what a product manager. That's the many hats a product manager actually wears. For me personally, that's what I do. I'll give an example. Like I initially mentioned, I said I consult for a food tech company. Um, right now, they are a startup and we are in the MVP stage. Yeah, we are in the MVP stage. Most times, I'm in meetings with the developers to ensure that the MVP that we want to push out is actually up to par, right? I'm also in talks with the designers to ensure that, okay, after we release this MVP, okay, what's the next line of action? What should we add to the designs that can be replicated on the plan into features and all that? And also with my other team members, creating user stories, creating milestones, working on Jira, debugging with the developers, and all that. So it's like clockwork. No 2 days are the same, really, for me as a product manager. So it's like a circus, right? When I do this too, but it's quite exciting. It's not something that you get bored out of, but you can get worn out if you don't have time to rest, if you don't know how to manage your time. But a lot of things will be thrown at you. A lot of issues will be thrown at you. You will have to carry out researches and all that stuff. So it's a lot of responsibility for a person, right? And if you don't know how to handle it, it probably might just break down in between. So that's just an example from my own point of view. I don't know if any other person has an example that they can give me. I don't know if Benga can share one or anyone in the audience can share what it's like when many hats as a product manager. Benga.
Yeah, so it's just like you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, it's just like you said, meetings. You wake up probably, 6 a.m. Check your emails from the last day, from the past day, check analytics, and then someone is, trying to do a quick catch up with you by 8 a.m. You have your daily scrum in between that, and then after that, you are firefighting, having meetings again with your superiors, trying to speak with marketing, trying to speak with, customer success, and oftentimes you then have tasks, with writing PRDs, and one wonders, at what time of the day do you have, to do your actual work? So that's the life of a product manager that I see as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Benga. Does anyone have anything to share as regards that, or is it the same with everybody else? Okay. Benga, is anyone raising up their hand? I can just see my postman. Is someone talking? Oh, all right. It seems someone's mic is someone's mic is on. All right. Let's go ahead. So yeah, that's basically it really. That's how a typical day in a product manager's life is. It's not the same. The exciting thing about it is there are no 2 days that are the same, right? Um, you get to do, you get to um experience a whole new experience in each day, right? So it's never the same as a product manager. So if you intend to do, if you intend to become a product manager, or if you already are, you testify to the fact that no 2 days are actually the same. So let's move on. So what separates, the next question will be now is what separates a good PM from a great PM, right? So yes, we know you are good, but are you great? So what makes you stand out from being a good PM to a great PM? So let's dive into that. So yes, a good PM executes well. A great PM inspires and drives impact. So I'll give an example. I myself, right? I know I'm good at what I do, right? But um I've gotten to work in startups where um you are the one that will actually push for things to actually happen. And that's how startups generally are. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that as a startup, working in startups. Um, Startups are they are they are sort of like a learning curve for you, right? If you are new to being a product manager, yeah, startups are good places to actually pick one or two things um, to make yourself better. For me, I've worked in startups a lot, so I can tell you for free that I don't just wait for things to happen. I actually make it happen by myself. So being a great PM, right? You should be the one that will inspire your team. So you should be the one at the forefront. You should be the one that gets your hands dirty, right? Their execution is good, but being able to inspire and also to drive impact is one thing that makes you great. Is one thing that makes you stand out from the rest. And the next one too will be mindset shift, right? Um, Generally, the thing about being a product manager is when products fail, you get praise. When products fail, you get the criticism. When product is winning, you get praise. So you have to build thick skin, right? Because most times, if a feature doesn't work out, they will pour the fault on you, right? And every member of the team that actually worked um, on that particular feature, right? So um, get to don't allow have like a mindset shift where you own whatever outcome that comes after it, whether it's good or bad. Just own it, right? And not just shipping features, not just saying, okay, what feature is there to build now? Okay, let's build um add add profile picture feature on the app or on the platform, and then nothing happens. So if you have like a mindset shift, it sort of helps you. It prepares you for the worst, prepares you for the good and also the bad. And when you are building like that, it just helps you stay in focus. Another thing is a great PM is very obsessed with customers, right? I personally am very, very obsessed.
Hi, Segun, are you still speaking? Maybe it's my network.
It seems we lost Shegun. So just wait for him to join.
Sincere apologies. I don't know what happened.
Shegun is
Alright.
back.
All right. I sincerely apologize for that. Let me share my screen again. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, so as I was explaining before, I was rudely cut off. Um, um, so yes, I was explaining that I worked as a customer success when I was a social media manager. So I sort of like understand how the obsession of ensuring that a customer problem is solved. So as a product manager, as a great product manager, you have to be obsessed with solving the problem of your customers or your users. Now I have several stories for this kind of thing. Maybe I should share this one. When I worked for a data sharing product, right? There was a particular issue. Um, the developers worked on a feature earlier on, and that feature sort of like affected, when you are building on something and then um something what you built spoiled the other thing. That's what happened. So immediately I noticed, I told them they should please put it back, right? A lot of people complain because we're a free data sharing service. Um, their data, the free services, the free data that we gave them depreciated like exponentially. Like it went down very fast. There was complaint, uh, um, the customer support team were complaining. We are saying the users are complaining and all that. So I was sort of involved in pacifying the users and ensuring that um they should not worry, all will be solved. I created like what I did was I created a sheet. I added their name, their phone numbers, the amount of data that was depreciated, and all that stuff. So I saw it through to the end. I ensured that the data that was depreciated was refunded, and we fixed that problem. So they didn't just complain about the issue, and I said, okay, don't worry. Our customer support will solve that problem, right? Um, I went further than just saying it. So there are several examples like that. So being obsessed with your users sort of like helps you, makes you understand um, the real problem of your users. Also, being data driven, right? Using data um, to decide what next to do, right? Using that as an insight to drive impact. Um, Several stories. There are several issues like that that have used data to ensure to even look at, okay, what features are the user using? How are they reacting to this particular feature? Okay, how can we improve this feature? Okay, why are these users not using this particular feature? Don't they understand? So most time I just make calls to these users, and then when I notice that pattern, I make calls to the users I ask them questions. Is it that you don't understand what this feature is, or you don't want to use it? So I get clarity um, based on the data on the back end using the analytics. So with that, sort of like helps the business or helps you make data-driven decision, right? So that's the um, part of being a great product manager, not just a good product manager. So yes, this is another discussion and context aspect. I've shared one story. There are several case studies, right, that as um that I have experienced. And there's this particular one that I did personally, and we actually paid dearly for it. So I will give this example and I'll share this little story, right? So the data set sharing product that I worked on, we had like a feature that we wanted to have like the IG live kind of um, feature on our app, right? And we were doing that. We wanted to do like a town hall kind of this thing feature, and we started it initially. People didn't really get the concept of why we did that, right? So um, we called, I worked with the marketing team. We sent like a post, an ad. We did ad out just to introduce these features to our users and just to like sort of educate them on how to use this feature. We tried it for 2 weeks. Noticed that people started using it, but they didn't really understand the concept, right? So we called for another town hall meeting, and literally no one. This is an app that had almost um almost 430 downloads on Google Play Store, right? And like 2 or 3 people attended that town hall meeting. So we were interested at that time, we were just interested in building a IG live kind of feature. But we did not do like proper research. We just assumed that that was what we wanted to do. So that failed. That particular feature failed. So we killed that feature off the app. Other features like making calls, sending text messages were performing well, right? Sharing data, watching videos, all the various features that we introduced were working. But that particular one failed because we were not, there was no point for us creating that feature because they didn't really need it at that point in time. So that's just one of the case study on my own end on how if you are just focusing on building feature rather than just solving problems. So I don't know if anyone has an example. Benga, you can share if you have one. Um, that's just one. Since it's a discussion, let's talk about Benga, do you have any story to share about when you build feature instead of solving problems?
Yeah, definitely. So I work in healthcare, right? So oftentimes when it comes to healthcare products, you have
Right.
very strong minded stakeholders. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, so oftentimes you have very strong-minded stakeholders, um, that oftentimes like to direct how, the
Mm-hmm.
product direction, usually wants what they want it to be, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're probably, doctors, they were doctors before, and oftentimes because they deal with patients, they always have an opinion on what they think patients want to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we started off on a spiral of, features that, weren't needed at all,
Mm-hmm.
by patient, just because we didn't do our, user research. We just went on, oh, the doctor said, the patient will need this, and so we have to build this. So we ended up with a set of features that nobody ever really used, and we had to kill them off. So and they were really really sophisticated features. They had like all the whole gang and AI. I just like the conversation with AI today, because the world is AI. Everyone wants to build AI into their product in one way or the other. So even if your product doesn't fit, or AI doesn't fit into your product, you just want to chook something there to see and say AI. We also have AI, So, that just teaches a lesson that you have to be problem focused when you are a product manager, rather than just functionality focused. Everyone can build anything, but the question is, does it work for the people that you are, selling it to? Can they buy it? And will they use it? Yeah, so that's just my take.
All right. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have anything similar to add? If you have, you can unmute and share. And before I move on, anyone? All right. No one. All right. So let me go ahead. So yeah, thanks a lot, Benga, for sharing that. Really, thank God I'm not the only one. Well, Amina, do you want to say something?
I think Amina just joined.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, thank God I'm not the only one that experienced this issue of stakeholders. For that the issue of stakeholders are really very, especially if you have a very strong, opinionated stakeholder, right? He wants what he wants, and you cannot turn it down. So especially if it's like the Oga at the top, so you just have to build, and so that when there is you just have to build because they say so, right? And not necessarily because um the feature is actually needed. So thanks for that. Yeah. Thank you, Kenneth.
So Kenneth,
Special,
yeah, exactly.
special, exactly. So yeah, I can tell stories for 100 years about opinionated stakeholders, but let's move on. We'll tell that story later on. So thanks a lot, Kenneth, for sharing that feedback. So yes, let's move on. So yes, now this is a very interesting part, right? Mastering communication and stakeholder management, right? Communication as a product manager is very, very, very key. It's one of the best skills that you can have being a product manager. If you don't know how to communicate, I'm sorry, you cannot be a great product manager. You have to the way you communicate, right, says a lot about your person, says a lot about um, what you know about the product that you are managing, says a lot about your relationship with people. So it's communication is like the centerpiece of being a product manager. You have to speak as a product manager. First of all, you have to speak to your customers, you have to speak to your colleagues, you have to speak to your stakeholders, you have to speak to everybody, literally everybody as a product manager. So if you say you want to be a product manager and you say product managers don't talk. It's a lie. You will talk from now for as long as possible. The only time you will not talk is when you are sleeping. The moment you open your eyes, you start communicating. Even if you are not a product manager, human beings in general will communicate. So that's just one of the major skills you need to have as a product manager. How do you master communication and how do you master stakeholder management? We just discussed something about building features for stakeholders, not for the users, right? So how do you now manage? How do you marry this communication and stakeholder management? So let's move on. So yes, Now, every PM really, we need to communicate the vision clearly to the team. I will give an example. I like giving examples, right? So that it's clear. So I'm not just speaking vaguely, right? There was a particular incident that happened on the product that I'm currently managing as a product consultant, right? We are supposed to build like a specific um feature on the app. It's not live yet, but it's still in progress. It's like on the product roadmap, right? So on the call, the co-founder mentioned this feature, right? Someone on the team actually asked, I think someone from the marketing team asked that she tried the platform and she tried the platform and there's this particular feature that she tried and she noticed that it did not work. In my head, I'm like, okay, I know of this feature, but why is it not working? So I try to explain, right? Um, I try to explain to this person and say, okay, yes, the feature is there, it's not supposed to work, but the fact that you tried it and it didn't work doesn't mean it will not work later. So, but you can take it up with me later on. So I was interrupted by the co-founder and he said I didn't communicate properly. That's the reason why he was telling me that he keeps telling us that this is how we need to go and this and that and this and this. So I took that as a what's that word again? I took that as a learning curve, right? If that particular person in the marketing team was um in our stand-up meeting or if it was probably communicated to because that person is a subsidiary, is a younger marketing in the he is not a lead in the marketing team, right? So if proper communication of the product was um said to that person, that question will not come up. I know for one that I communicated properly to all the team leads, and so it was the responsibility of the team leads to actually pass down that information. So it was my own communication was seen as I didn't communicate properly. So as PM, really, we need to ensure that this vision is communicated clearly to the teams, not just the team lead, to everybody. So I took that as a learning curve that, okay, instead of me speaking to the team lead alone, I will speak to everybody. So if we have like a general meeting, I say, okay, this is what the product is, this is where we are going, and this is where we are. So I make sure it's very clear. Also, as a great product manager, really, we have to be able to manage conflicting priorities and aligning stakeholders. I have another example. So we have people are throwing ideas here and there, right? Let's build this, let's do this, but they don't know that the work is a lot. So if you say, okay, let's build this, so you have to put it on the roadmap. You have to say, okay, after we have this problem, have we solved this problem first? If we have not solved the problem, then we cannot, yes, your idea is good, your idea is awesome. The feature that you bring is good, it's great, but let's solve this problem first. Also, because there are conflicting ideas and conflicting priorities, stakeholders too want their own as well. So it's now you that will now say, okay, you guys relax, we have this in place. Your ideas are okay. Hold on. This is what we need to do. This is how we need to do it. We know that this is where we are right now. For us to get to point A to point B, we have to do this, this, and this. So all these issues will be put on a proper roadmap and say, and there's a guideline, there is a step to follow in each what's that word again? There's a proper guideline to follow in general, right? So that these priorities will not be conflicting. So if you use Jira, for example, or you use Trello for your product roadmap, or you use any product management tool to manage all these issues, all these priorities, right? it will give everybody a focus. It will help you mitigate every priority that comes and every feature that comes, every idea that comes. You know that, okay, this is where we are. We still have backlog of other issues to solve, right? We have to solve this first. So it's now you that will now know that this is how you want to manage X, Y, Z, and managing it between your stakeholders and your teammates, and in fact, general everybody, internal, both internal and external stakeholders. Also, for you to be a great product manager, um, you have to have good storytelling, right? You have to tell stories with data to influence decision. So as a product manager, yes, it's good you can drop ideas, but if you cannot drop ideas, or if you cannot drop ideas on, okay, why should we have this feature? Okay, based on what data, based on what information, what do you have to say, okay, we really, really need this feature. Okay, have you spoken to the customer? What was the feedback that you got from the customer? What's the insight you got from the customer? You have to paint that picture. You have to tell it in stories using data. For example, you say, okay, you notice that a user lacks data, right? And you know that if you don't have data, you need data to be able to call your loved one. So what did you do? Okay, so you went to the user, you went to ask, okay, what does the user need? How much does he use for data in a month? How much does he use for data in a day? So you paint that picture. You now say, you bring it out, you now present it as a story. So when you ask the user said this, the user said that, and you notice that X, Y, you can drop statistics, you can drop whatever information that you need to prove your point so that the stakeholders can be on your side, right? It's very important to know how to tell stories using data to influence decisions. So yes, another discussion time. In this aspect, right? I will say I have lots of stories, and I will give another example. There is this currently the product I manage as a consultant. I will keep mentioning it because they are startups and there are key things that they need to have, right? To ensure that their product actually works out fine. So one of the things is we deal with mapping, right? There's a feature that has to do with mapping, ensuring that, okay, when you go on the platform, you want to get from, there's a restaurant in, for example, Alausa, right? And you are currently at Ikeja, and you enter the app, you enter the name of the restaurant you are going to, and you enter the location of the map on the map, and then it takes you there, right? So there was a particular issue as regards the mapping not working correctly, right? We had that issue, so we wanted um the mapping feature to have like an accurate address on where it needs to be, like an accurate location on where you are, right? So instead of just you entering the address or entering the address yourself and then looking for the restaurant that is around Alausa, so there was a feature that I told them that we should introduce is using is a no-brainer feature, but they didn't have it initially, right? So add current location feature. Very simple, very straightforward. They had to, persuade the leadership to add that feature just to ensure that the users are not stressed to be adding the location all the time. Like, okay, maybe if they are in Alausa, they will add the actual location, or they will ask around, okay, where am I now? Should I add, okay, I'm in number 2, Agege Street, Alausa Ikeja. We get, so with that feature, it's pretty much straightforward. It's once you click on um use my current location, it shows you, it takes you like the exact location where you are, right? And with that, we invested in that. and that is currently a building right now. So it's just something, it's how I communicated it to the stakeholder, to the leadership, and saying no user will want them, or no user will want to be adding their address every time they leave a current location. So it's just better to make it very seamless for the users so that it can be easy for them to actually use this app on the long run. So I don't know if anyone else has an example like myself. I don't know if Benga can also share this aspect of persuading leadership to invest in a new feature. Benga, are you there?
Yes, I'll just wait to if anyone has something. If not, I'll go with one of my examples that I have.
Okay. Does anyone have an example? All right. It seems we are the only one giving examples here. Does no one have any example to give? Kenneth, Aminat, Simisola, Favor, any
Hi.
example?
Can
Yeah,
anyone hear
Kenneth,
me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I'd say sort of, but so in our case, it was an issue of prioritizing what we should do first. I mean, the business had something that, oh, we want to do this because we can see that our competition, is doing this. But with what we already had existing, we could see that banks had, an issue using what we had. So we on the product team had said, this is awesome. We love it. More revenue coming. We'll be competing with the big guys and all that. But first of all, we have Wahala on our table. Our customers can't even use what we have properly. So why don't we prioritize fixing what our customers are complaining about before we now say we want to ship an entirely new thing to compete with the big guys. So yeah, it was a whole back and forth thing because they were like, oh, we can always fix this, but let's push this because more money. But we have said you cannot. It's not nice to build on something that is not already stable, right? So why not fix what we have first, and then, you know, in the FY we'll pick up what you have. But you know how business people can be. So yeah, that's my example. It was pretty tough, but we won in the end. So yeah.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine the back and forth as regards that. Sometimes it will be like you're fighting principalities and powers. In the
Honestly.
end, it's
Honestly.
understandable.
But at the same time, it's
Yeah.
also nice to, like, for me, right? I work with I work with my line manager. So it's nice when for a PM like me, I have backing for my
Okay.
line manager. So, oh no, but my line manager said that this is what we should do, and he will tell me, can I tell them I said this? Let them come and meet me that I'm the one that said let's do it this way. So it's also nice when you have your team lead or a senior product person
Yeah.
also supporting the team in what to prioritize and build.
That's actually a very good example. If you have someone that has your back, it makes a lot of sense because it saves you the pressure of how did you come to that conclusion or what authority do you have. So that's actually an awesome example. Thanks a lot, Kenneth. And Benga, if you can share yours, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, who sent you? Who sent you? I think that mine was where I had to seek stakeholder buying. I think there was an issue one time where I work in healthcare, so we had to switch our telemedicine provider because the other one was used to crash a lot. And then when doctor and patient is, speaking to one another, then thing just crashes and doctor can't hear patient and patient can't hear. So we had to make that hard move of switching our telemetry provider. And why was it important to get the stakeholder buy-in? Because healthcare, the users are middle-aged old people. And so when they get used to a platform, they get stuck on it. It's very sticky for them. And for them to move to another platform with an entirely new interface, they'll just they'll eat your head, they'll eat your heart out. Now, why did you change? This is how this seems to work. It's not working, and we don't like it. All those kind of things. And for the engineers as well, they are the ones going to work on it. So I had to, seek their buy-in as well, leadership to customer success team, because they're the one going to train the users on the new platform. And then, having to just throw a new platform at them and just run away was not something we could do at that time. So of course, stakeholder buy-in came in there, to ensure that, each and every of my stakeholders were carried along in the entire process, communicating the reason, why we needed to switch, and being able to work out an easy plan for our users as well to be able to start using the new platform without any issues. So that's the example.
All right. Thank you very much for that awesome example. It makes sense. Yeah, because if you don't get consent, and if you don't follow through, like you don't communicate that process properly, you probably will get in trouble. So yeah, ensuring that the processes are followed, it will just make it easier for you to persuade the top guys at the top. Because if you just if you come up with this idea by yourself and you don't pass it through the right channel, once it gets to the final funnel, they will just turn it down. Like you said, they will ask, who sent you? And that will be the end of it. You get me? So yeah, thank you for sharing that example. So yes, let's move on. I think we've covered this as well. Communication with different audiences, engineers, executives, and customers. It's typically the same thing, really. The way you communicate with your engineers is different from the way you communicate with the executive, is the way you communicate with the customer, right? The engineers are I used to say it and I will say it anyway. The engineers are one of the toughest people to work with anywhere. Like you, if you don't have emotional intelligence, you get frustrated by the engineers, right? So you have to, then the way you communicate with them, that will not look like you are commanding them, or that will not look like you are forcing them to work. Just make it easy for them. I have various examples. For the engineering, right? Let me tell like a brief story, right? So we were supposed to release like because at this point we are working on an MVP, and we're supposed to release like an APK so that people can test it and give us feedback as regards what they like and don't like about our product, right? So on this stand-up call, I'm the lead product manager on the team, right? And I have like an intern working with me. So that day I didn't feel like talking. Yeah, we talk every day now. So I just told the intern that today, any question top or guy ask, or anybody on the team, we are the one that will answer this question, right? So to my surprise, this is a funny story. To my surprise, right? This particular person, the engineer was supposed to release that APK before the next meeting, right? So, and now engineers and there's this bug that are trying to solve, debugging, and I came across it. Now, normal talk of an engineer, right? So, we agreed. And the next thing this intern says is, this is a directive from the top. In my head, I'm like, what? This is a directive. How? Is this not an human being? You don't say that. But it got messy that day, and it was not funny. Right? Yeah, the lead engineer said, you cannot you cannot make that kind of statement. Don't ever speak to me. Like on a live call. You get me? So I had to apologize. I told her to apologize to this person and all that. So communication, like I initially mentioned, is very key. You have to know how to communicate properly with engineers, with executives, and even with customers, right? Customers, when they, like Benga mentioned, when a customer is experiencing an issue, they complain to their lungs. So it's now how you now communicate with this your customer that just makes it easier for them to give you the necessary feedback that they want, right? So yes, and then that's true. Engineers are, I call them latecomers to timelines. Um, I call them latecomers because most times if you give them a timeline to focus on something, it doesn't happen, right? You have to be on their neck. You have to be on their neck. And then yes, like you mentioned, you have to set realistic timelines, right? So if an engineer tells you something will be ready in 2 weeks, just add one more week to it because in that 2 weeks you cannot be ready. So that's how they work. So yes, thank you for that, Kenneth. I really appreciate that feedback. So yes, the next topic or the next discussion will be prioritization and execution like a pro. So how do you now prioritize like a professional like that you are? So great PMs, they balance user needs, business goals, and feasibility, right? So there is a way that great PMs balance the business goal, the feasibility, and the user need. Can I mention something earlier on that, yes, the features that the stakeholders want will bring in more money for the business is good, but is that what the user really needs right now? Because they still cannot get a hang of a particular feature that we already have, that they already had. So if the users don't know how to use your feature properly, there is no point in introducing something that reintroducing something new that doesn't really work. It will be a disaster. And the company probably might lose more money if we build something on top of something that doesn't work. So if you are building, check it, weigh the option. Okay, does the user like it or is it useful for the user? Not like it, not work. Is it solving a problem for the user? And is it going to make us more money? So remember, you are not building these features for building sake. You are building it so that it brings in direct or indirect revenue for the business. So you have to weigh that option, a great PM balances user needs, business goals, and then look for the two of them together and see, okay, do they intertwine with each other? Prioritization framework. Every user, every product manager, a great product manager uses we have a prioritization framework. The RISE method, the must-have, the value versus effort. So it's pretty much straightforward, prioritization. So the most popular one that everybody knows is must-have, right? Must-have, should have, could have, won't have. So it's a popular one as a great product manager, right? You have to know which features your product has to have, must have. You get, and then you should know what features your product should have, and you should know what feature your product could have, and what you don't need at the moment. So don't build vanity features that you know that they will not be important to your users. So ensure that all your features are important. The the most important one, the ones that you should have, the one that you could have, and exclude the one that you think is not necessary. So ensure that you have that. Once you have that prioritization framework in focus, everything works well perfectly. The aspect of execution. So working iteratively, managing sprint, continuous feedback loops. So there is no perfect product, right? When you build a feature, a particular feature, there is no how. You will meet a bug. Something will not function. You will press something and something will not work. So it's normal for that to happen. So it's now how you now fix it as fast as you can to ensure it works again. Now, managing sprint, there are different sprints. So sprint can take as long as a whole day or even forever, right? But it's now how you now manage those things per time. Continuous feedback loop, ensuring that this feedback, whatever feedback that you have, um, are, are put in place, right? So if a user, for example, says is experiencing XYZ on a particular feature, okay, give that user feedback as regard, okay, yes, we understand that you will not be able to use or you will not be able to use this particular feature on our app. We are working to what's it called? We are working to fix that. We've already answered the user. Now go to the technical side, to the engineering side. Okay, this user has complained that this particular feature doesn't work. So you add it as a ticket on Jira, or you add it as an issue. You get on whatever bugging platform that you use, right? You add it there and you feedback, you add the particular issue this user is facing, and with that, you build, and you work on it, and you see if everything works. Go back to the user, feedback again. Tell the user, this issue has been fixed. Can you try it again and give us feedback? If the user tries it again and uses it and there is no issue, then you have closed that loop. That feedback has been closed. That means the user is happy. So ensuring that these feedback loops are in place just to ensure that everything works as it's supposed to work, every information is not missed, every feedback is not missed per time. So execution is quite important. So yes, this is the part where is one of the most difficult aspects for the product manager. It takes a very strong PM to say no to every feature that is being thrown at you, right? I will give an example for myself. There have been several issues, or there have been several times that features, ideas have been thrown at us, thrown at me particularly, and my team members. And okay, we need to build this. Yeah, this is next. This is as good as jollof rice. This is as good as sliced bread. Yes, we have to fix this. Our computer is using it. Sometimes it's not. In fact, what am I saying? Most times we don't need it. But your stakeholders want it. So there's a polite way to actually turn it down. You don't outrightly, obviously, that person is paying your salary and all that, but there's a polite way to say, you can answer, you don't outrightly have to say no to their face or give a no feedback right there and then. Give a no feedback with proper backing, right? You can add data, you can add insight to it. Okay, yes, this feature is important, but we are facing a critical issue in XYZ section of the platform or of the app. So we probably might need it in the future, but we don't need it right now. Yeah. So this is something that is quite what's that word again? You don't get to say no just like that. But like Kenen said, if you have someone that can say no on your behalf, it's very, very important. If you are bold enough to say no with data, say no with facts, say no with insight. I have several examples like that. There was a particular feature that we wanted to build for a data for the data sharing service, right? Yes, I mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier on about creating like an IG Live kind of feature. I initially, most times when your stakeholders, most of them, if they are engineers themselves, it's almost close to impossible to say, no, let's not do it. I categorically said no to that feature, right? Um, and I told them that we don't really need this feature at this time because Nigerians, you already have IG, you already have, there are a lot of platforms that do all these live things, right? We don't necessarily, why will I want to leave Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or Zoom to come and be joining video this thing on your app. So I think it was good, but it was not important. So I told them no, but they went ahead and built it anyway. So you might come across sort of that kind of issue, right? But um since you've said no, the fault will not be yours. Once you say no and they go ahead and build it, so obviously the fault is obviously not yours. So there are other ways also for you to say no, as I've earlier mentioned. So is it's now left to you to sort of stand your ground with facts, stand your ground with figures and data and insight of saying, okay, we don't really do this now, and we can build it later. I don't know if Benga has any or anyone else here has any issue of saying no to building a particular feature on a product. Anyone? Rachel, Favor, Anonymous, room user. I don't want Kenneth to speak again. Amina, anyone? All right. Mega, do you have any feedback or any story to tell us about you saying no on a particular saying no on a particular feature that you are not supposed to, that you guys don't really need? Oh, okay, no problem, Rachel.
Yeah, so I particularly enjoy saying no to the sales team. I mean, no pun intended. I'm not. If you are in sales here, I'm not abusing you. I like saying no to them because oftentimes there's always the rush or urge to try to sell a feature that we don't have. I had a lot of scenarios that, you're trying to sell a feature, you're probably trying to sell an EMR feature to a restaurant, something like that. So in those cases, I definitely say no. Why? Because it does not align with our product vision. It does not fit our target market, and oftentimes it leads us into a direction that we oftentimes will not love to go into in terms of what our feature roadmap is saying. So yeah, that's the example I sort of give.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. Let's move on quickly. So yeah, becoming an high impact, the next steps. So I'll run through this. So how do you now become an high impact product manager? Really, it's pretty much straightforward. If you want to be good at something, you have to follow no rules, like they used to say. Um, Continuous learning, right? Follow blog, follow podcasts, and follow communities. There are several product blogs that you can follow. You get there's Lenny's um Lenny's newsletter on Substack. It's product led. There is Akesh. There are several ones. You can just search online, right? There are several blogs that you can follow. There are podcasts. You get there's product dive. for product and community. There is Innova Lab, there is AceTech. There are several communities that you can follow just to learn. You get those are how to become high performing. Also, to become high performing, most new product managers or most people that start out newly as product managers, right? They are looking for yes, I've done boot camp, I've gone through boot camp, I've gone through training and stuff like that. Okay, so what next? I'm looking for who to hire me. Well, product management is the product management field is a very competitive sector. So don't wait for jobs to come to you. You can start it by yourself. Build side projects to gain hand-on experience. Don't wait. Look for problems around you. Plenty problem no dey finish. You get. So there are a lot of problems that you can solve. If you have designer friends, get a designer friend, get a developer friend. You guys should join hands together and start a side project. Also find mentors and network with experienced PM. If you check on LinkedIn, you will see thousands, if not millions, of experienced PM. Like like Benga here, like myself, like several people, you will see them, they are online, just search for them, look for mentors, right? There's a ad list where you can look for mentors. There are several people that you can just approach on LinkedIn to become your mentors, right? So there is no saying you cannot find mentors. Just go online. Who is your friend? You find them, try and network with them. Don't just add them on LinkedIn and then bombard them with questions. Shadow their content, shadow the activities that they carry out on their pages, comment, like, share. That way you get noticed, right? That's what I do. If I come across a new product manager or someone that I feel that is more senior than I am, I send a request, shadow their content, like, comment, and then with time, I just go to their DM and that's how we start a conversation, right? So that's it really. Then the last one will be measure your impact, track your OKR and user feedback. It's important that get feedback no matter what. There is no how you cannot that you do anything and you will not get, even from your users, from your stakeholders, from whoever you come across with. Ensure you get feedback. Just that way, it helps you measure the kind of impact that you are making. So in this aspect, right, there are several books, there are several newsletters that you can be part of. There are several online communities that you can be part of. They are in abundance. You can check on Slack. There is product-led growth on Slack. There is Product Dive. There is Innova Lab. Various online communities that you can join. There is AceTech. You get that you can join. Books. One of my favorite books here is Inspired, right? It's Inspired. That's one of my favorite books to read. All right, no problem. Welcome, Aminat. No problem. Don't worry if anyone has questions, I will answer them as we go on. There are several books. One of my favorite books to read as a product manager when you are new, you just go and check online or buy the book Inspired. You will truly be inspired by what you intend to become. You get it contains everything you need to know as a product manager. Newsletters, right? I'm part of a lot of newsletters. There's Melita Perry, there is Product School, there are several. You get so even I have a newsletter that I share every Wednesday. I just talk to product managers, experience, junior, mid-level, anyone that is willing to speak to me. You get, so that's basically it about books, newsletters, joining communities, and all that. So yes, with that, I say gracias, thank you, eshe to everyone. God bless you all. So I don't know if there are any questions. And if you have questions, I'll be open to answer them. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, awesome. It was a great session. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun. If you have questions, you could just raise your hand or just speak, basically. If you are too shy, you can leave your questions on the Slido link. If you check the chat box, you'll see a Slido link where you can leave your questions, and definitely be available to answer those questions as well. All right. I'll also be sending in feedback form basically right about now, just to basically know how you enjoyed the session. So if you check the chat box now, you see a feedback form there. Well, it was a great session. I think that we have to jab our virtual hands for Mr. Segun here on, his seamless execution of this subject matter. As a product manager that he is, he seamlessly executed it, ruthlessly executed it. It's a great session. Yeah. Awesome. Leave your feedback. Let's know how the session went. So next, like we said, this is a PM Weekend Series. So this is not the end of it. Next week, we're also going to be having another session. And this time is going to be with Mr. Favor Martins Leye. I believe he's somewhere. I believe he's somewhere in the meeting. I'll just open up that now so that we can see that as well. All right, everyone can see my screen, right? So it's going to be with Mr. Favor Martins Leye. Let me just open it up. Yeah, I was going to be sharing on the blueprints for scalable products. So it'll be happening next week, 15th of March, same time as well. It's going to be an exciting set of sessions, very insightful. Favor Martins Leye is product lead at Reliance Health, and my former colleague, very good friend of mine as well. And I assure you that the sessions will be very, very insightful for us. And also forgetting that, at AceTech, what we do basically is to offer mentorship opportunities for product managers, both aspiring and current product managers looking to upskill. So we have a 3-stage process that includes the first stage being a 1-month intensive, where we get to teach you product management topics in an advanced way that is relevant to your job role. And the second phase is basically what we call the career elevation phase, where we not just teach you subjects like course, but we also help you with LinkedIn optimization, resume review, teach you how to answer product management interview questions, also help you out with mock interviews and real world job experience as well. So if you are interested in that, kindly reach out to us on our LinkedIn page, and we'll definitely get back to you on the mentorship details. Interestingly, Mr. Segun Sobodu is one of our product management mentors, so you can catch up with him on the AceTech LinkedIn page and book a call with us, you know, and have him be your mentor. And good thing is, the mentorship is actually forever. So you get to have his expert insights, you know, and his views on product management to guide you all the way in your product management journey. Also, we have a product management bootcamp that is, you know, coming up in the month of July, just like I'm showing on my screen, in the month of July. And it's going to be a great set of sessions where we have a mix of, you know, interactive live sessions, career support and mentorship, you know, as well as hands-on projects as well. So it's going to be, it's a good sort of foundation for, you know, aspiring product managers and also new product managers as well, looking to upskill. It's going to be a great set of insightful sessions. Ensure that you are available. You can join the wait list as well. You can join the wait list. I'm going to put the link in the chat box so you can join the wait list for the bootcamp as well. Awesome, 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 awesome. Hope we had a great session. Just before we go, we would love to take questions from those who joined. If you have any questions, I have some questions in the chat box. I'd just like to read some of them. Is someone speaking? I think I had a question here from Rachel. So I think that this should be for Segun. Says, what will you say to a person who newly transitioned into product management and is yet to find a footing? All right, so Segun, can you help answering that?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So yes, that's an interesting question, and that's a question everybody, anyone that just starts out as a product manager, right? How would I put it in that you um don't don't rush yourself, right? There is something they call information overload. You just transition and you want to have information. Take it as simple as possible. You don't give me Maybe can you hear me?
Your line was breaking a bit.
Oh, okay. But can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Give me a moment.
Was breaking. I
I think
don't
it's
hear you.
my network.
Please.
Give me a moment. Sorry, a moment. Right, is it better now?
Much better.
Yeah, it's better.
Awesome. All right. So as I was saying, right, there's something called information overload. When you first start out, you want to go in all the information. Yes, okay, which type of tool should the product manager have? This is how do I get myself out there? Okay, how do I get a job? How do I do, take it one step at a time, right? Don't rush. Don't rush. Just take it. You can be as slow as possible, but ensure that you are in tune, you are in tune with the latest technology as a product manager, right? Read the latest books, connect with people that are in tune with what the latest trends are. Just ensure that you are up to date, really, right? Ensure you are up to date. If you can't find a job, start a project, a side project by yourself. If you can't find a job, join a community. And in that community, right, contribute as much as you can. Like if they are saying anything product related, say something, even if it's nonsense, even if it doesn't make sense, say something. It's quite important because I've gotten jobs, I've gotten referrals from the fact that I was active in a community, right? So it's just important that you don't know where your luck can just shine, and you don't know where someone will just see you and just say, this person, I like this, the energy this person is giving. Let me um let me give this person a chance. Another thing is LinkedIn. I can say LinkedIn is the best thing after sliced bread and jollof rice. And I mean it, in all sincerity. LinkedIn is like your online portfolio. Aside your normal portfolio that you have, LinkedIn is where most recruiters go and just check you out, right? They check that the kind of content you have, they check your experiences, they check who you are in general. So and first impression really matters, right? If you want to gain more footing, share your knowledge on LinkedIn. I'm a fan of sharing knowledge. That's why I'm involved in mentorship a lot. Share knowledge. There is no knowledge that you did that is wasted. So the more you share knowledge, know one thing, that you will not forget that knowledge that you shared. um, the more you tell people about what you know, you will, trust me, you will never forget it. So, and then be confident about yourself, right? Do everything that you need to do. Do it afraid. Whether it's good though, or you're ready or you're not ready, oh, do it afraid. I started my newsletter from a conversation I had with someone, and I have a mentor, right? But I have several mentors. Even me that I'm a mentor, I have several mentors. You get. I asked her that, what do you think? And he said, give it a shot. And I did. And in my first, um, my first newsletter with a product manager was not like the best of the best. You get. All the questions I asked in my newsletter was generated by me. AI was not really, ChatGPT was not really strong then. They were generated by me. And I passed it through her. You get. And now my newsletter is over 1 year old. Yes, I started that newsletter in 2023, right? So, and we're in 2025 right now. So, it's over 1 year plus, or 1 year and some few months. So, everything you do it afraid. You don't necessarily have to have all the experience in the world. Look at me. I was a social media manager. Now I'm a product consultant. I lead product assurance at one of the biggest browsers, one of the largest browsers in the world, Opera Software. So just do what you need to do. You don't have to know everything at the same time. I hope that answers my question, Rachel. Your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very, very much. Like I really gained a lot of insight from this. Thank you. Like you really drop bars for me right now. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Any other questions?
All right. I think that's as much as we can take on this session. It's been a great time with Mr. Segun. Thank you so much for giving back to the community, basically. Next week, like I said, is going to be a session with Mr. Favor Martins-Leye. Ensure you tune in. And everyone who has joined will be sent in an automatic invitation to also be available for that session as well. If you would like to relive the session and all the details, don't worry. The recordings will be sent to everyone by Monday, so that we can also have access to relive the session as well. All right. I'll say on this note, I'll say thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. I remain Benga Deniji, your host on this one. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank
Enjoy
you,
your
Benga.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great one, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye for now.
Yeah.